Hello folks, only me, and today on the workbench we've got the Mighty Melody. So this has been with us for about 5 years now. Bought it for the camera girl, and she's had a few goes on it, but if I'm honest, she's not really a scooter rider or a moped rider, because she didn't have one when she was young. She went straight onto a car when she was 17. So it's like having that confidence, isn't it? And even with the small wheels and stuff, I was a bit worried if she hit a pothole, she might go flying. But we used it a bit when she first got it. But I think the last couple of years it's been sawn, sat up on the bench, and we decided to let it go. I remember the reason I bought it for is because when I first met her, we had one of these as a field bike that I had for my children over at my mate's farm. And she bombed around the farm a bit and quite liked it. And she said if she ever was going to get a moped, she'd want a Honda Melody, twist and go. So I surprised her one day. And so I was in the good books for a while, but it doesn't get used, and she's agreed we can get rid of it. Who knows, it might make a bit of space for something else. You don't know what's in the future, do you? So I'm going to quickly, well, it's been sat up there, it hasn't been started for a good few months now. I expect when I come to look at it, it's got one of these automatic fuel taps on it, which runs off the vacuum, and there's a diaphragm in there which invariably sticks. So one of the first things I'll be doing was I shall pull the fuel line off the carburettor, and then you can pull the vacuum line off and just suck on it, as they say, and it should let the fuel through. What you generally find when you do it, you suck on it and you feel it click, and then the fuel comes through. Otherwise you'd be kicking it over all day and not getting anywhere. So that's what I expect to find. But yeah, a little look round is that it's quite a good one. It's you know, it's quite old now. It's got a rubber mat, which is a bit of a rarity these days. People are after those, in good nick. It's got the basket still on it. It's got these tyres. I looked on the date stamp on them, and you know what, I can't remember now what it was. It's around here somewhere. I think something like 14. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. So is that 16? Yeah. So that tyre was made 16th week, sorry, 11th week of 2016. So the previous owner put those on. It's had some paint put on it, silver paint by hand, I think, by just brushing it. There's a little thing on the wheel there. Look, that's be easy enough to straighten out with a hammer. But all the plastic work's reasonable. It's gone a little bit light in the sunshine over the years. There's all the bits are there, all the stickers, the little tray. I can't remember the mileage. I can't see that. You can. Is it 8,000? Something like that. Electric start. It's got one mirror on it at the moment. There was a story behind the mirrors. I won't go into it. I won't embarrass her. She broke a mirror. So we bought. We ordered a set of mirrors, but they came with these. I ordered the wrong ones. They got plastic on them. You can get the silver ones, and the spare one is in the top box here. Top box was on it. I'll probably be taking that off. They look better without a top box, but I'll be putting this top box on my C90, I think, for if I do any trips about. It's an X-registered X-reg. What's that? Do you know what? I can't remember now. Brains hurting, but I know it's a little bit over 40 years old. Came from Eric Holmes in Leicester. I don't know if they're still about, still selling Hondas or not. Little sort of heat shield there, which you could say has seen better days. It's got a little crack in it there. But it is what it is. Back wheel again, someone's gone round it with some silver. Ideal bike to either just use as it is and enjoy it, it runs well, or maybe strip it down and get the frame painted and a few of these bits done in the wheels, put it back together, and it would look even nicer. Yeah, there it is, just a quick look round. Everything was working on it, and we had to get it MOT for a couple of times when we first got it because it wasn't quite 40 years old. Do you know what, I was going to say something then, but it's gone. Oh yeah, these little rubber gaiters are common to wear out on these little Hondas, and you can't get them anymore. So what you do is you fit these, and they're off a MGB gear shift. Not an MGB, an MG, one of the more modern MGs. What are they called now? Christ, I can't remember. My mate had one, we had a few. But anyway, I was looking round to replace them, couldn't find the spares, and somebody posted that you could use his ones off an AGF, that's it. An MGF. So they come off the MGF gear shift cables, and at the time they were costing just, I don't know, a couple of quid or something. About £2 each, free postage. They've gone up a bit now. But it's if people are looking for that gaiter on a Honda Melody, that's what you want to do a Google search on. MGF gear shift cable gaiters. This is a lovely little sticker here. It's got a Lambretta on it, and it's racing. Was that a Norton or something? And it's Magpie motorcycles and scooters in Coventry. I don't know if they're still going either. Bit of history on the bike that came with it. A lady bought it when it was new, and I think she had it for quite a few years, if I remember rightly. Anyway, we'll set you up in the stand, make a start, see if we can get it running. Right, I've stuck you in the stand. Let's see if we can get this connected up. Without too many problems. Pop that in there. So we're going to connect up the live first, like you always do. That's weird. I didn't know that. Oh, I've got the wrong bolt, that's why. For some reason, there's a washer under one of these and not under the other. I'm going to get a washer for that then. Right, connecting up the live first, and the reason for that is that if you connect up the live and you touch the chassis, you're not going to get a spark. And if you connect up the ground afterwards, if you then touch the chassis with a oh, I'm struggling today. If you then touch the chassis with a spanner or something, you won't get a spark because it's already the ground. And that's the same with cars and everything. I'm going to get a little washer for that. Cut this bit out. Me delving around trying to find a washer. There we go, didn't take too long. So that goes on there. That's good. And now we've got this little cover goes over. There we are. got 6mm bolt holding that on. If I get to start threading. Well, I'm not happy with that, I must say. I'm going a bit crossed. Now, why is that? Bit tight on the threads. It might have been just where I was accidentally cross-threading that in. Bit of a Billy Bodge. Come on. Of course, off camera, this one goes in really nicely. There we are. I hadn't started properly. Right, we should have battery and power and things like that. And there we have it. When you switch the power on these things, you have a little warning light for the oil comes on. If it stays on, you haven't got enough oil. If it goes off shortly afterwards, you have got the right amount of oil. Let's have a look. It should go out. There you go. That means you've got the right amount of oil. And there's even a fuel gauge on this one, showing some fuel. Hopefully that's not too bad. Should be right. Right, and the next thing to do then, I know for a fact, I think I mentioned it before, we're going to have to suck on the little pipe, the vacuum pipe, to get the fuel to come through. So I'm going to take this cover off now, and we'll take the fuel pipe off and just suck on the little diaphragm for the it's like a vacuum operated fuel tap, so that when you stop the engine the fuel turns off rather than having to do it manually. Then invariably they're stuck on these if you leave them for a while. So I'll get you a bit closer in the stand and we go from there. Right, we get this cover out of the way. And we just have a little loop. So the tap's up there. Oh yeah, so that's the vacuum and that's the, yeah. So it's quite simple. I don't know if you can see this or not, but we've got, I don't know if you can see up there or not with my camera. Basically that's the vacuum line, and it goes up to the little diaphragm side of the tap, and then you've got fuel coming down into here. So I'm going to try and take both those pipes off. There's a little clip on here. Little Honda wiry job is, I guess there's a special tool for them, but there we go. And we give it a little wiggle. So that is the vacuum. Now, if I want to try and get in here, which is bloody awkward, of course, to get that fuel pipe off. There we go, that's the fuel pipe. And just move that out of the way. The idea is to suck on the diaphragm and we should get fuel come out of it. So we go. So suck on there and nothing happens, but I know if I suck it a bit more, I'll feel it. I'll feel it click, and then the fuel should come out. I have. There you go. You see that? I'll put a bit more vacuum on it. And there's your fuel. As soon as I stop the vacuum, the fuel stops. That wouldn't have done it on the engine because it's a bit old and the diaphragm sticks. But that'll be fine now for running. You know, you probably when that only happens if you leave it for quite a few weeks, I think, a couple of months maybe. I'm putting that fuel line back on there with the clip still on it because I can't get in there, and hopefully the clip will go on as well. There we go, clip's gone on. Pop this one on. Actually, I could give it a bit of a prime. Yeah. Give it a bit of a chance to fill up the fuel bowl. Get this back on. So, I'm thinking, well, somehow I doubt whether the starter will work it, because it got indicators on. Oh, it is working. Oh, look at that. So it should have an automatic choke. We should have fuel in it. It probably needs a kick out. Ignition on. Ah, there's a problem. The throttle slide's stuck. So we'll have to sort that out. That's a shame. I had that on my Honda SS the other week. If you look at this, that doesn't turn. It's because it's stuck in here. So I'll take the top off of this, squirt some WD down it and see if we can free that off. Let's see how we get on here. It's a bugger, that is. With the Honda, I have to get a little bit of heat on it. I think it's just where the fuel's varnished up. It's varnished up and the throttle slide stuck in there. Of course, if I can't get heat on air, so many rubber pipes. Bugger. I wonder if I can, I might be able to get some WD down there. Nice cup of tea. Right. And put that back on, and just give it a little bit of force on the twist grip, not too much, and hope that WD gets in. And I've got mine that cross-thread these bloody things. That's either tight or it's cross-threaded. Let's see if we can get on with this. That's very tight. I'm going to take the airbox off, I think, and see what we can do with that. Move that over there. How's that come off? I had a feeling there's a little bolt or something. Oh yeah, what we got up under here. Oh there, 10mm, or a 6mm bolt with a 10mm head on it. I used to start this every few months, every about 3 months, but I haven't done it for a while, and of course these things start happening, don't they? Season up and what have you. I know what's going on. A couple of screws to undo. That should come off, I think. There we go. There's quite a bit of oil down there, so I'm surprised it's stuck. Just putting that on properly because it didn't look like it had gone fully down. There you go. I'm wondering what to do here. I am surprised that's stuck because it almost like it needs a little lever, but I don't want to put anything in there that's going to bugger up the slide. Could try a bit of heat locally with my little heat gun. That's probably the way to go. Just take you off and show you. So you can see the slide in there. I'm just surprised that's seized up, but hey ho, there's plenty of oil around. But, I'm going to try a little bit local heat and just see if that frees up. Oh, that's freed it. Lovely. Yeah, it didn't take much. That's still quite, that's all right. So we've now got a sliding throttle. Give it a, right, let's see if we can get her to go. What? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Get that back in there. Put that in. Am I taping? Yeah. Keep forgetting to put the bloody tape on. Video, whatever you call it. Alright, come on. Come on, Mick. Stop fucking about. What's that? See where that goes. Does that go Just stays there, I think. I don't know what it is actually, but now we're going to put that on there. I think the wrong one was at the bottom. That's that. If it'll go on the key, we'll give it a go. Let's pull you back a bit. Right, so ignition on, brake lever on, start. Wants to. I think it's not warm enough yet to give it a throttle, and it's got an automatic choke. Come on, you little bugger. That's a bugger. She stopped working now. Is it out of fuel? I don't think so. It may just be really smelly old fuels. Not wanting to fire up. There's not much in there. Let's get some clean fuel put in. Mix it up with that old stuff. Nice bit of E5. 10. That'll take a while. Ah, you little bugger. That started up first time. I don't think it fired up on the WD. Might have done. It might have done. What I want to do, I think, is see if I can squirt a bit of real fuel down the intake. I think it might be just this old fuel that's messing me about. Come on, Melody. And then undo that. Okay, let's put a bit of real fuel down there to the tank. Surely should fire up. I think. Get the bloody thing warm. Oh God. Right. I think I know what to do. It's clearly a fuel problem. It's been sat for a while, probably with fuel in it. I think we're going to have to take this carburettor apart and see what's happening inside. Right, what else we've got to undo then? I can leave that bolt in there. It's literally just this top one, whatever that is for. Okay, I'll try and get this clip out of the way. Oh, there's another one here on this little little thingy bobby, whatever it is. Come on. And then we got this, some sort of vacuum thing. And I suppose we've got some else in here. What's that? That must be the drain for the carburettor. When you undo that, it drains it out the bottom, or when you loosen it off. And another one. Christ almighty. Right, there's our little carburetooty. Let's take the screws out and see what's going on inside. Don't look too bad. We're just blowing down the fuel inlet. That seems to be working. I think I'm just going to give it a bit of a blowout with some air. It don't look too bad. I thought it might be really gummed up. There's a bit of dirt in there, but that's just a small amount of dirt that's sitting at the bottom, and I don't think that's affecting the main jet or anything. Give it a bit of a wipe out. Yeah, there's an automatic choke on here, but I can't actually remember how it works. So I'll get an airline and blow down. I'm going to blow down there. Well, I've got a bit of compressed air now. I don't get too involved in stripping the carb, if I'm honest, because looking at it, I don't think it needs it. I did think while the compressor was creating air, it's quite noisy, so I didn't have a video on. I thought, I know what's up with this. It doesn't want to leave me. That's why it's giving me some trouble. She knows that I want to sell her. Right, so I'm just going to give that little needle a wipe as well. I cleaned that earlier. So I'm going to put it back together. feeling it might be because it's dirty fuel. And once that's purged through with the new stuff, I'm hoping it's going to be better. So upside down. Yeah, upside down. It doesn't. I can't blow into the fuel when it's like this with no fuel in it. I can blow into it. So the little valve's working. So it's getting fuel into the carb. Let's throw it back together. See what we've got going on here. That one went on there. That's the drain. Are we running? Yeah, we're running. Get that put on there. Oh, that's a good point. I just realised that I might have had the wrong one off for checking the fuel. I wonder if that's to do with the richening it up. This is the one I was blowing down, I think, a minute ago. Oh, this up. Oh, no, it wasn't. No. Talking rubbish again. I did check the O-ring. It's old, but it's there. The O-ring between the carburetor and the manifold. Shouldn't affect me getting it running. Right, let's get this done up. We have to cut half of this out. Can't see what I'm doing. Let's go up a bit. There we go. Okay, then we want this pipe, which is the fuel inlet. That's gonna go back on. You've got a little vacuum one here, and this, whatever this is for. Jump. Turn that bugger off. Oh fuck. There we go. What else am I missing? We've got to put this back in. The old throttle slide. Oh. Have to give it another go. Pull me back. I suppose I won't prime it really. It's empty of fuel, isn't it? I think it's a prime on these. A lot of these fuel taps have got a prime on them, but I don't think this one's got one. Like the old Suzuki has. That when I put the air filter on, it didn't seem to want to run that nicely. I'm wondering if that little valve I was telling you about is actually sticking. It's not getting enough, it's not pliable enough to stay on. I'll tell you why I wonder that, because every time I suck it, you hear it click. And it usually only does that once when it's been sat for a while. I think I might be having a problem with fuel starvation because of the tap. Maybe not. Ah, bugger. Oh, step ladders are gone. I thought we had it there, so I cleaned out the jet. I thought that was it, but I'm not so sure now. Right, what we've got to do then, I think, is take this air filter bit off again. And we want to suck on the pipe, the vacuum pipe. And actually see if we've got any fuel coming through here like we did before. Oh. fine. Yeah, gonna be a long old bloody video, this one. Right, so we definitely got fuel going in. Have I got... Yeah, the vacuum must be alright. Stinky old fuel. Let's have a bit of a mop up. Still got the ignition on. I was just blocking off the inlet a little bit. I'm wondering about this so-called automatic choke. Don't even know how it works, but we might have to look into that. Give it a bit of throttle. Yeah, it's definitely playing up. Right, well, I'm going to have to leave it now because it's that time of day, dinner time, and we'll get back onto it hopefully tomorrow. I want to get this thing running up and down the road, get it up for sale. Bugger, never had so much trouble with this little bike. It's always been perfect. Right, so let's give it another go tomorrow. And well, next day, and I came out this morning and switched the ignition on, kicked it over with a kickstart. Second kick, she fired up lovely. Then I was revving it, and it's revving well. And then on full revs, it started dying a bit. So I let it just tick over, and then after a little while, gave it another rev, and it just spluttered. It didn't want to do the full revs. So I thought, it's this carb, I've got to have this carb off again, clean it properly. Yesterday I just kind of blew a bit of air down it just to, I didn't think there'd be that much wrong with it, that's the thing. I have also checked the spark plug. It was sparking, and although it looked a bit oily and wet, I don't think there's a problem there. I even put another plug in it, just see if that made a difference when it wasn't starting. That didn't. So I took the carburetor off again and had a closer look at it. What I didn't want to do is get it in the ultrasonic because of the seals that are on it. If I start putting it in the ultrasonic and this seal here gets hot and pops out, I'll be buggered. But I was using pipes and what have you to check all the passages for the fuel and the air and what have you, and found out that I couldn't get any fluid or air through this jet here. This is the idle jet, and it comes up and you adjust the mixture with the idle screw, which allows air to come through this little hole, and you've got this little tapered jet, which is about, I counted it was just under two turns out, so I can put it back. But using little bits of pipe like this, I was able to put a pipe on the end here and blow down it, suck on it or whatever. Nothing, and you should be able to suck air through there easily. So I then got some wire. Thought, well, that's easy enough. We get this on the lawnmowers. These little things block up. and clean it out. But the wire was too, because that's quite long, the wire was just bending. So then I got some steel wire out of a wire brush, strained it out, and it's taken me, well, I went halfway through, I got fed up with it, so I went for lunch, but I would say it's taken me about 2 hours of just gently pushing this steel wire in here. If you can see that, just pushing and pushing. I mean, I even put a little crank on it so I could use it like a drill bit, just to get out what I'm guessing was varnish. It took ages. Lunchtime I got some carb cleaner and I put a little I put this bit of pipe on there and eventually filled that up, left it over lunch with carb cleaner in it, come out just the same. So I just carried on. It took me ages and ages, and eventually I felt the wire pop through. I couldn't believe it. So, and that wire goes all the way down now. Before it wasn't lining up with the the depth of that where the adjuster goes in. It goes in now, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm going to give it a blast with some carb cleaner. So you don't like using that stuff because it does attack these seals, but it's just give a bit of a blast through there and then put it back together. And I'm thinking this is going to solve the problem. Just a bit of varnish in that hole. So let's see how we go. Right, put that on there. Put the carb cleaner jet in there. Get rid of the, there we go. That's brilliant. That's going through there lovely. So let's put this idle mixture adjusting screw back in. That's the spring. There's the screw. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. When it was in just a little bit. That's right, about there. Got my little float valve. Oops, what am I doing? It's got to go in there. If you can see this on camera. So the little float valve goes in that little notch in the float. Oh, bollocks. Just get that in there. There we go. There's a screw for there. Just holds that little pin down. Just blow down that now. That's working. Get this back on. The other thing I did was I took the fuel when I was trying to just to make sure I knew the tap was working okay. I took the fuel line off, and when I kicked it over, fuel came out. That's just from the, you know, from the vacuum of the vacuum through the carburetor. Because if I remember right, that's connected to, what was that connected to? It's around here somewhere. As that sits on the bike, that way. Oh no, it's on the manual. It's on the manifold on here. But that worked fine, because I was thinking maybe it was running out of fuel because it wasn't being fed. So happy with that. This has got to be it. It's going to be a little gem. Okay, I'm going to stick that back on the bike. Right, that's all back together. I even put the airbox on it. I've primed it by just sticking on there, because that would obviously need to fill up the carburetor. Let's go for it. Stick you in there. Bit of ignition. There we go. That's how it always used to be. So that's just got blocked up because I hadn't run it for a while. Blocked up with a bit of varnish. So I'm just going to try the electric start. No. Far off. Get a bit of air in the tyres. I get a little video of me going up and down the road. Can't do that today though, because the camera girl's not here. What I am going to do though is take that box off, the top box. I think it looks better without it, and also I want it because if I ever go out on the old C90, it's an ideal top box for putting crash out in. Okay, that's awesome. Let's crack on. Right, there we go. Top box is off. I fitted a mirror. Found a mirror in the top box. So we've got two mirrors on it now. I took the little RAC badge off, a little trinket for myself. That was on this side there. It just leaves two holes. It's a bit of a shame, but hey ho. Probably put some little screws in there, maybe, or a couple of little grommets. Yeah, I found an MOT, last time it was MOT'd I think, which was in, where are we now? That was in 2020, so that's sort of COVID time, weird. 13th of May it got done, and it had done what we got here, mileage 6,763. It's now done 6,804. So we did a few miles in it. Not many though. In the last 9 years, it's done, I think, just over 300 miles. But I think that's it really. We're gonna get the camera to girls to take a little video of me going up and down the road, and then I'll be putting it on probably Gumtree up for sale. I've been thinking, I don't know, I'm gonna have to check what these are going for. This is quite a good nick one. It's all original. Shall we start it again? Shall we? Ignition on. Oh, gotta hold the brake in on this one. Hang on. Let's get the stand out. All right, hold the brake on. Bit of electric. Excellent. So here we are on a cloudy day in Northamptonshire, and we go for a little test ride on the Melody. So without further ado, let's go for it. Skid lid on. Go for a nice electric start. Oh, I see on. Right. Not working properly. Cut. Well, that was yesterday, and it's fair to say I was a bit gutted. So I said, cut. Do we use that bit of video? Of course we do. So anyway, it wouldn't start. I brought it back in the garage, kicked it over, and I said to the wife, that's got to be fuel, it's got to be. So I took this pipe off again, sucked on it, nothing came out. I mean, and then I put it in the garage and left it. In the evening I came out and I pulled the fuel off, and it was just dry as a bone. I then sucked this again, it needed quite a bit of a suck, and then it did come out. I then put it back on here and kicked it over, and it was coming out okay then every time you kicked it over because of the vacuum. So it's this little bugger, and you know, it needs changing. So I'm going to drain the fuel and then take it off and find out what thread that is, because there's quite a few of these about, but they're not all the same size apparently. And I think one, especially for a Melody, I can get for something like £20 plus postage. I think that's right. But you can get cheaper ones. At the end of the day, if a cheaper one fits, I'll put it on there. But it may well be I've got to buy this one that says Melody only, and it's to do with the size. If that's a 14 by 1 thread, we're looking good. I can just buy one of these. They use them on other little Chinese bikes and what have you, and other Hondas. So there we go. Let's get this drained. Right, let's get this drained if possible. So we're going to take this pipe off. And the plan is, there isn't a plan. I'm going to put a screwdriver up that hole. Stop that pissing out when get a smaller screwdriver. Come on, Mick. What are you doing? pop that up there, pull this off, and I've got a little plan, put a syringe up there to draw a vacuum, so I don't have to keep doing it with my mouth. See what happens. Yeah, this is the trouble, you see. Oh Christ, we've got fuel coming out of there. Well, there's I bet the old diaphragm's broken. I didn't realise we had fuel coming out of there. It's not. I'm going to have to give it a bit of a suck on there, I think. I'm going to get fuel in my mouth. Yeah, it's definitely shot, isn't it? All right, let's have a look. Right, I just sucked it, and it felt the diaphragm go. So I'm going to put this on there. There we go. It's worked. I don't know if you're in camera or not. Hope you are. Yeah, definitely problem with that, because you shouldn't get fuel coming out of the vacuum bit of it. Okay, I'll drain that off and then remove the tap. Right, we've drained the fuel. So let's get this tap off. Not sure if it works like an NSU quickly. It probably does, where you've got a left hand and a right hand thread. Of course, I don't want to bugger anything up. Well, maybe it's not a left hand and a right hand thread. It seems to be doing under. It's a right hand thread on the tank anyway. He says, full of confidence. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I was getting a bit worried there. Thought I'd shared it. There we go. Oh Christ. Now what's that? Why has that got a long thingy bobby on it? Hasn't got reserve, has it? Oh, what's going on here? Don't really understand that. Unless that's something to do with the... I was going to say unless it's something to do with the gauge, but I don't think it is. Oh dear, dear, dear. I expected that to come straight out. Oh, there we go, there we go. All right, it's the old filter there. What's all this about? Perhaps this tap's used on, I just don't know. Because that's usually for the reserve, but, well, rather, that's the reserve at the bottom. And that's the pickup at the top. But they've got a gauge on this one, and that's blocked off. I just hope it's nothing to do with the float and that I've dislodged the float, but we can probably get in the tank anyway. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just measure that thread. .389, so that's a 14, and the pitch, I think it's 1. Yeah, pitch is 1, so I can now go away and find one of these vacuum tappy thingy bobbies that's got a thread of 14mm by 1 pitch. And I should also try and find out what this is about. Why he's got that? That's... I don't know. Okay. Right, here we are again. We've got a brand new tap, vacuum operated tap with filter. Let's get it fitted. Let's have a look. We've got that there and that there. So I'll pop that in there. I want a bit of clearance on those pipes. There we go. That's the old one. That should be tight enough. So I've got to take off the vacuum and put that on there. Which goes on there. There's the fuel. Pop that on there. So we're down on the floor because I've got another project on the workbench. So I want to get this year tube on there. That's it. What we've got to do now is get some fuel in it. I wonder if that's the best. Oh, that's it, that's probably better. Up like that. I've got to get some fuel in it and hope it doesn't leak. So we get that done now. Okay, ignition on. We'll try it on the starter. Good. I'll leave that running. Let it warm up so the trim comes off. And then hopefully we'll be ready for a proper test drive. Okay, so here's the thing. Little Honda's playing up still, doing me head in. I've got a new tap, so we know it's getting fuel. And I'll show you in a minute what happens. It starts really easy now. It starts on the motor, but it won't. You can rev it. I mean, it revs high for a bit, and then brrr, it just dies. And I've had the carburetor apart a number of times now. I've run it with and without the box, the air box. I've tried adjusting it, and I was at a loss. I had to go on the internet, have a little look. Some people were saying blocked exhaust, and I thought, yeah, that's good. That's probably what it is. It's got to be. I've tried everything else. So I took the exhaust off, and at the moment, all I've done is I've got the propane torch and blasted it up there. Got loads of smoke come out of it and everything. So yes, I've done that. Then I put it back on and it's just the same. I mean, I thought, well, I'll take the exhaust off, try it without the exhaust, just the same. It's really noisy, but you rev it up and boo. So then I'm now down to thinking that it must be perhaps the reed valve, or is it reed valve, reed valves, I don't know. I've not had a great deal to do with reed valves, because most of my bikes are sort of pre-reed valved, reed valve. Come on, Mickey, get it right. They're all pre-80s, if you like. So we're gonna take the carburetor off again, take the manifold off, see what we can find in there. Yeah, I think that's it really. I'll show you it start now, because it actually starts all right. A few tools around here. I usually put all the tools away at the end of the day into my toolbox, but I didn't the other night. Let's have a look. So we got, it's all cold. So I'll put the ignition on. Let's put the brake on. The other thing is at the moment I can't get the slow speed, the slow running very low. It's settling now. Oh, of course that might be because the choke's on at the moment. The other thing I did was, I don't know if you can hear me, I had all these pipes disconnected so that I was running on just the carb as once it had warmed up. Because I thought perhaps this automatic choke thing was playing up. It's not though. It's not that. It's just the same. Right, let's pop it back in here. Don't let the door of it. When that cut out on 4 roads, I did it on its own, it wasn't me. Do it one more time. So that's the problem. And okay, you might say, well, it's not warm enough yet, Mickey, but I can get that warm. It does the same thing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this carb off yet again, and this time remove the manifold and have a look, see what's going on with these reed valves. So I should get the carb off now, off camera, otherwise it'd be even more boring. I'll get back to you when we're taking this manifold off. Just thought I'd mention before I forget, when it was running before, as well as blanking off all these pipes to the to the choke, see if that made a difference. I squirted the air in easy start, and as long as I kept it away from the intake, it didn't, you know, I didn't get an increase or decrease in RPM or anything. So that kind of proves that I haven't got any air leaks on these pipes. Just thought I'd chuck that in. Right, let's carry on getting this carb off. That was a bit of a task. I had to, in order to get to these bolts, I had to remove the, I'm thinking about it now, maybe I didn't have to. Anyway, I did. I removed the cover, which is, and to do that you have to remove the cooling shroud bobby thing. Don't know if you can see it around there. Didn't take too long, it's just a few 6 more bolts. And so I've now got the manifold here, and it looks like there's a insulation gasket there. That's to stop the heat soak from the engine going up into the manifold and then onto the carb. For the carb to the manifold, it's just a little O-ring which is in there. So I'm now going to pop you in the holder, in the camera holder, in the stand, whatever you call it. Let's take this off. I don't know. I've never been in here before, so it's all new to me. Right, I've already washed this off with a toothbrush and some white spirit and a rag, and then I've just gone over with it some brake cleaner, just sort of dry it off a bit. Want the least amount of crap going in there as possible. It's not spotless, but it's a lot cleaner than it was. So I've got an 8mm socket on here. Let's get these undone. Yeah, in order to get to this and get the cover off, the cooling cover, so I could then get to these bolts, I had to take the choke off. I don't know how this works. Oops, hope it still works. It's this thing. I may have little butchers in there, or should I just leave it alone? That's something's telling me I should leave it alone. If it isn't broken, don't try fixing it. But yeah, I had to take that out. I've got to remember, putting this back together, that there's a little bracket on the front here for the airbox cover, I think. So that one's got a bracket on it. Pop these down here. Okay, I think a little tap. Oh, there's the inlet of a gasket. And there's my reed valve or reed valves. If that's focusing in or not. Now what's that there? I'm just zooming in. Is that damage to one side? Oh no, the other side's the same. So I'm going to very carefully remove that. I'll clean off this dirt first, I think. Oh no, that's actually a gasket, so we're okay. It looks different when you're looking at it through the camera on this governor. Right, I'll put that back in there and zoom you out again. So the insulator is part of this. Is part of the valve. And that's tight. I don't want to bugger it. Oh no! Oh dear. I don't suppose you can get the hold of these. You know, it's always worse when you're doing it on camera. That's not shifting. How would I get that out? How would I get that out? As I actually look at it, you have to wonder, should I even attempt getting it out? It's almost like you want to just check to see that it's that they're moving. That one's moving. That one's moving. So it's not like they're stuck open or anything. I'm looking at it thinking there's nothing wrong with it. Oh dear. I just don't want to bugger anything up. There's a little lip on there. Maybe that's designed to lift it up. No, I'm going to end up breaking it if I'm not careful. We're going to leave that on there. It's a bugger. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As I kick it over, there are bubbles coming past it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm going to have to do a bit of homework, I think. But there we go. That'll do for now. I'm going to go and do a bit of reading. So there we are, it's all back together again. I didn't get any further with the reed valves. I decided I didn't see any damage on them. If I kicked the engine over, they seem to be working. You've got a little bit of, you can tell there's a little bit coming back. But I just felt that wasn't a problem. I may be wrong. So I just cleaned them off with a blast of car cleaner and put everything back together again. And then I got to thinking that maybe this problem is a home goal. Maybe I've shot myself in the foot. Because if you remember earlier on in this video, I mean it's weeks for me, but probably just a few minutes for you, I had a problem with this carb and I couldn't get any flow through the low speed, not low speed, the idle circuit. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. The idle circuit. And so I persevered by pushing a piece of wire through there from a wire brush, and eventually it popped through. And I thought, that's brilliant, it's popped through the varnish and we should be good, and began to flow. And after that it started a lot easier. And then I'm thinking, maybe I've actually damaged that. I mean, yes, in the books it says you don't use steel wire through jets and things, but at the end of the day I couldn't do anything else really, because a bit of copper wire was just bunching up and wasn't even going through. So I'm thinking, yeah, that might be it, because I'm really struggling now as to what's wrong with this bike. It always used to run lovely, so it's only been sat up on the bench there. So I looked on eBay, and there's a carburettor supposedly used to run, then the chap put an aftermarket carb on it. you have to ask why. Was it because it wasn't running properly? But I took a chance on it and I paid £20 for another carb, which hopefully hasn't been sort of, I'm going to say, butchered by Mickey. Hasn't had a piece of wire brush put down the idle circuit. So I'm not going to do too much to it. I'm going to take it apart just to check it's all in there. It was complete apart from the slide. I don't know why the slide wasn't on it, but there you go. So I shall have a quick look at it. I'm not going to go too mad cleaning it to start with. Pop it on, see if it makes any difference. Right, so let's have a look at my replacement carburetor to start with. Well, it's got the rubber O-ring in there, which is good. Now I've already blown down there when it's down like this, and you can blow down the fuel inlet. That one there. And when you turn it up, you can't, which kind of is a rough indication that the valves are working. So what I want to do now is just check that idle circuit jet, which is that, I believe. Just see if I can suck through that. So I'm going to put a little pipe on there. And this was blocked on the other one, which is where I started poking around with a wire. That one isn't blocked, so that's good news. Obviously I poked around with the wire and got it unblocked, and I was very happy with myself, and it did start much better like that because it was obviously idling properly. But if I poked it through too much, I don't really understand how it could do it, but if that enlarged with a little steel thread, it wasn't like although I was turning around like this, I wasn't using a drill bit or anything, but it may have just opened up enough to make it too rich. I wonder where this one's set. That's half, that's 1, that's 1.5, so it's near enough 1 3/4. 1, 2. Whereas the other one, I have that screwed right in to make it run. And when it's running and you open this up a little bit, which is the idle adjustment, you can actually hear it. So I'm hoping that this is the problem, that I buggered it up. Being a bit of a numpty, but then you learn, don't you? So I'm going to pop that back on there. And fit this carb, see how she runs. I'd be bloody pleased if that's what it is, because we can finish the job. The other thing that I couldn't set was the slow running. So that'd be another reason if that's idle jets letting too much air through, letting too much fuel through. Is it letting air through? Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. That idle jet system, when you're adjusting it, are you adjusting the air or the fuel? Because the air's coming through here, so I'm thinking you're adjusting the air. You're allowing more or less air to go through on idle. on this carb. Right, let's get it fitted. Right, replacement carb fitted. Let's see how we go. It might take a few spins of the engine to get the fuel into the carb, because you've got to make a vacuum obviously for the tap. Let's see how we go. I'm going to put ignition on and contact. Have to kick it, I think. Yeah, hasn't charged, so we'll get that kick started. Right, I didn't want to start too well with the kickstart either, so I primed it. I just put a little bit of fuel in the old syringe here, fired up straight away. Then it was a little bit so I primed it again, and it was running then, running a bit high on the rev, so I've slackened off the idle screw, which just sets the slide. Should we see if it starts now? Nothing wrong with that. And I'll be down. I think I fixed it, although it was me that messed it up in the first place. So there you go, a bit of a schoolboy error really. I'm going to put the airbox back on it and everything, and see if we can get a little run up the road and back. But I'm hoping that's it. I really am. God dear. Okay folks, so here we are. take two. I've got a bit of a flat battery, so we'll have to kickstart her. Hopefully it'll start alright. It's cold. Oh, that's right. Choke's on, but we're set up anyway. That is awesome. It's very nippy. Even nearly got 30 miles an hour down there. So that's it, we're sorted. Yeah, I'll put it away in the garage and might have to cut this bit a bit, it went a bit wrong. Yeah, so that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video and its ups and downs. But she's up and running again now. It's going to be for sale. So until next time, bye for now.